Now we move on to the spring practice portion of the show.
Yeah.
And what kind of intel has been made known?
I mean, going from Falconer TRX's previous comment, the young wide receivers continue to acquit themselves very well. The freshman group, Dalen Upshaw, Joshua Moore, who had a diving catch in the montage put out by Hurricane Sport or Canes Football on Twitter, and then he mossed somebody with one hand in the end zone. A different play. That's like see now you're trying to get me hype. Because at 6'4", you're jumping over a dude, one hand with the left hand. I don't know if he's right-handed or left-handed. I think he's right-handed, but one hand with the left hand, toe tap, boom, boom, mossed you, jumped, dunked on your head. That's the kind of receiver we haven't had. And he's the only one on the roster. Everybody else is, 6 foot, or sure, but somebody of that size and athleticism, hey, now, you're an all-star. Malachi Toney continues to be the first name out of everybody's mouth at wide receiver this year. Or him and JoJo Trader continue to take steps forward. So that's been very good. The offensive line, just continues to be a strength of this team where you're going to have, guys competing for snaps, whether that's, all 5 of your starters. You add in a Ryan Rodriguez, who actually started the Florida game, and then got injured, and then trying to work his way back. You got Tommy Kinsler trying to now work his way into the conversation at tackle, a guy who is built like an NFL tackle at like 6'6", 328, and I mean, pretty not like much bad weight on him. Long arms, physical beast. Samson Okunlola, 5-star from a couple years ago, trying to make his headway in there. Those things are at the forefront. Defensive line, specifically Armando Blunt and Justin Scott at both, along the defensive line, taking big steps forward. Ruben Bain slimming down, looking like himself again, who, he got injured on the second play of the Florida game and was never the same for the rest of last season. Your transfers in the secondary really, doing well. Specifically, Zachariah Poyser and Ethan O'Connor. Those guys really standing out. In terms of quarterback, it's, Emory Williams is the veteran, the elder statesman, and he's just further along than Judd and Luke. Luke is, having a little bit of that, oh my God, there's a linebacker in that window that wasn't there at the high school level, kind of, the speed of the game thing. And that's okay. That's okay. He's very talented. I, give him time. But if, there was the chatter, and I mean, I even said, I would like to see if he's able to push Emory Williams for the backup job going into this season. I don't think that's going to be the case. Judd is super physical and everything, but he's still a developmental player who's still only at the end of his first calendar year, going into year 2 of his development, or his starting year 2. So, there is that and everything. But yeah, I mean, it of the available quarterbacks, it's Emory. I still don't think if he ever has to start here, like, I still think that Miami's in trouble. I'm sorry. I think that he's a fine backup. And I think for spot duty or something, cool. But like, even going into 2026, I personally would need to see Miami either develop Luke, have Darion Coleman come in with his hair on fire, and or go get somebody else. I personally do not have faith in Emory Williams as the starter here at Miami ever again. But in terms of being the best quarterback of the crew this spring and looking like he's well on his way to locking down the backup job this year, that's kind of where we stand with things. Nope. Okay, sorry. That was for Florida. Juan Manuel Upshaw mossed O'Connor for a touchdown on Tuesday's practice. Great. Love to see that. Charles Johnson, 8-4, 9-3 would be good this season. One of those would be good. The other one would not. 9-3. 8-4. That's a little problematic.
So we saw a depth chart going into spring, and then that's not going to be revised or shown to anyone until it's shown again at the outset of August camp, correct? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Sorry, I got sidetracked. Charles Johnson saying J.J. McCarthy went 4th. No, he didn't. Harvin Marison Jr. went 4th to Arizona.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Sorry, it just shiny objects. I apologize, but yeah. So let me focus. Yeah, depth chart won't really be updated through the spring. That it wasn't even a depth chart. It was really just here's the roster. Like these are what the names on the list look like right now. Type joint. So we'll get probably another roster with an early 2 deep at the beginning of fall, and then we get the one placard card with the roster and the depth chart at the opener, and that never gets updated from there on. So, but that's just how Mario does it. So we get the one where I'll say, like these are positions, you might have a couple oars in there, and like literally every time I go in the press box, like, it's me, Brandon O'Doy, Brian the Beast London, like we sit in the same row, sat in the same row together for 8 years. And so whoever's there first always gets the cards. For all, there's like 5 of us in the row. There's a couple other guys, but in that same row, and you just pick up the lineup card. It's just like, okay, cool. So basically, I'm getting this every week for the opposing team because regardless of anything else, like the Miami portion of it doesn't change. But yeah, it is what it is.
I had a question on the tip of my tongue and it left me. Oh, Notre Dame. So having an elite opponent week 1. Would you rather have a tune-up or 2, knowing that they're going to have the same advantage or disadvantage, or do you mind coming out of the gates with this kind of showdown?
I think it's situational, really. Like last year, like with Florida, like I said, I was not living in a universe where I considered the fact that we could lose that one. Like I was very, very, very confident, and we beat the hell out of them by 41-17 and left a solid 20-25 points on that field. In that situation, I was so like the state of our team and that roster and adding Cam Ward and everything, bring who you want to bring from jump. This year, a little more trepidatious. It's like, okay, well, is Carson Beck going to be 100% healthy? They say that he is, but I'm not sure yet. Okay, what about the defense? Here in spring, there are people saying, okay, the secondary looks a lot better. The linebackers, though, and they got a really good running back. And so you got to run fit. You got to, the linebackers will stop their running back, but then they got this good offensive line too. So can you get off these blocks? Things like there seem to be more questions right now heading into the Notre Dame game versus last year heading into the Florida game. So like, I'm open to any and all, things, and like, hey, respect all opponents and fear none. Like I'm fine with it. But like, yeah, logically, a year like this where there's a little bit more turnover and an offense that will not be the number 1 offense in America. It will not. I'm telling you now, stop it. Carson Beck is not Cam Ward. So if you're expecting that again, I don't know what I want to tell you, but yeah, it's not going to be that. So I would, in this situation, maybe like to have a FAMU game before the Notre Dame game or whatever. But in general, I'm fine with it. Respect all opponents and fear none. Line it up, roll the ball out there. Let's go get it.